What I've personally learned over the years of being so deeply into self-improvement is actually developing the ability. Notice I said the word developing because it is something that is learned over time. Developing the ability to find an unending sense of joy and fulfillment in doing extremely difficult things to achieve your own personal goals, whatever they may be. I think this is the main reason why so many people in life get so lost and are never able to make anything real of themselves or develop any sense of self-control, is because they never learn the ability to find joy and fulfillment in doing extremely difficult things to achieve a long-term outcome goal for themselves. Over time, I've learned to control my mind to such a degree that my own personal self-improvement gains have started to become completely exponential. I personally think what most people are missing out on, since so many people have what is known as FOMO, or fear of missing out, is actually paradoxically being able to develop self-control and self-discipline. Over time, I've honestly noticed that there is indeed a very spiritual component to truly succeeding in self-improvement in the long run, because so many people try and end up giving up over time. It's the ability to find an unending sense of power within yourself that motivates you incessantly and constantly pushes you forward in life. If you take Shaolin monastics as an example, you can see these people doing absolutely incredible physical feats that most people would deem to be completely impossible, and that is because they have been able to regulate the qi, or life force energy, in their bodies to such an extent that they are able to even not feel extreme feelings of pain in their bodies. Now, what is understood by the Chinese as qi is essentially the life force energy that is latent within each and every single person's body. The key to mastery of life itself is essentially being able to direct and control this energy and use it to achieve your own personal goals and long-term vision for life itself. Now let's get more into how to essentially generate an unending sense of power within yourself and regulate the qi, or life force energy, which I previously mentioned. Now let me give you an example. Have you ever walked outside on a beautiful sunny day in mid-spring and automatically feel a rush and a sense of aliveness and well-being? That right there is exactly what traditional Chinese medicine refers to as the qi energy flowing throughout your body. When you are sitting and are stagnant the entire day, the qi energy becomes stagnant within your body. And that is why when you sit around all day long, you feel such low energy and you feel so tired, because the qi energy has become stagnated within your body. The qi energy I speak of is not something that modern science entirely recognizes, at least not yet. However, these ancient traditions of the past knew of these deeper secrets and sacred mysteries of the universe that modern science is potentially on the brink of converging with. Now, the life force energy, or qi, that I previously mentioned is essentially equivalent to what Ayurveda understands as the term prana. Now, prana or qi becomes stagnant in the body for many different reasons. This could be things such as health challenges or sedentary lifestyle, which I already mentioned. But it could also be due to various negative emotions such as stress, fear, anxiety, worry, hatred, anger, or even envy. Now, these ancient systems of medicine, both Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, go much more in depth about the life force energy, much more than I will cover in this here video. Essentially, the goal of both of these ancient systems of medicine is to achieve complete optimization of both the mind and body and regulate the qi, or prana as it is termed in Ayurveda. This is essentially a fundamental concept of these ancient systems of medicine that have been taught for several thousand years. Essentially, the goal of both of these ancient systems of medicine is to achieve complete optimization of both the mind and body and regulate the qi, or prana as it is termed in Ayurveda. This is essentially a fundamental concept of these greater systems of medicine which have existed for several thousand years. Both of these systems, Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, were never intended to be used in a type of analytical, subjective way, in the same way in which modern medicine was developed with the modern scientific method. Both Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine work essentially as ways of connecting one's own self to the greater spiritual reality of the entire cosmos as a whole. These ancient systems of medicine were entirely developed from intuition and intellectual contemplation alone, which means that they were taught and passed down for several thousands of years as a byproduct of the conscious connection to a higher power in a way in which both the heart, mind, and ultimately every organ of the human body is synergistically cooperating together in a harmonic fashion, that the conscious perception of the individual is able to access extrasensory perception and ultimately perceive a reality that is above the normal waking state of consciousness. Now, where this goes back to what I was saying about personal development, mental focus and acuity in and of itself is essentially a byproduct of the proper functioning of and circulation of chi or prana within the human body and mind. When an individual is in what is called the flow state, that is essentially a byproduct of the whole entire mind and body synergistically functioning together in a harmonious state, which is brought about by the proper functioning of and circulation of chi or prana within the human body and mind. That is entirely why people are always talking about the benefits of healthy eating, exercise, and proper sleep. And I'm not just going off of this by all of the innumerable scientific studies that have been conducted, but I'm going off of this by the ancient systems of medicine, Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. What is so fascinating about Ayurveda in particular is the way in which through its teachings we have a unique picture of how the whole entire body is totally interconnected, and how the proper functioning of a daily routine, healthy diet, proper exercise, and restful sleep all come into place synergistically as one unified holistic function rather than separate individual activities. What is so fascinating about Ayurveda in particular is the way in which through its teachings we have a unique picture of how the whole entire body is totally interconnected, and how the proper functioning of a daily routine, healthy diet, proper exercise, and restful sleep all come into place synergistically as one unified holistic function rather than separate individual activities. Basically, what I'm essentially getting at is that without proper diet, exercise is not as good and offers less benefit, and without proper exercise, sleep quality is not as good, and without proper sleep, no function of the body can operate properly, and therefore an individual slowly falls into a state of disease. This is exactly why these ancient systems of medicine are so fundamental and so important, because they give a way of being able to truly redefine the term holistic through a complete system of medicine that allows the individual's own personal conscious perception to perceive the entire world and one's own relationship with food, lifestyle, and herbs as a unified, continuous functioning of movement, energy, and transformation operating together as one cohesive whole. When we look at and redefine prana or chi, as I already mentioned, in order for a person to attain a limitless amount of power within themselves and to attain personal transformation, it essentially comes down to achieving personal balance within one's own life. When prana or chi is properly circulating throughout the entire body of the human being, one is in a state of complete tranquility, and all organs of the body are functioning harmoniously. Thus, when an individual is in this state, they can completely rewire their brains to be able to overcome psychological, emotional problems such as trauma, because their bodies are already in a state of complete harmony, and thus the individual is able to completely overcome negative thought patterns of all kinds and be able to attain a limitless amount of transformation within themselves. What modern science is actually coming to is that the whole entire universe itself is actually made out of energy, and therefore the concepts from both Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine can actually be explained more properly, that we are not just simply constructs of organs and flesh, but we are actually spiritual beings, and that every action we take has a direct impact on our overall health and well-being. In conclusion to this video, I wanted to say thank you for watching, and a final message to you that in reality, the universe itself wants you to succeed in life and not be stuck in various bad habits of all different kinds that people suffer from in modern day society. Various bad habits such as anger, hatred, lust, vanity, greed, and envy. These all deprive you of your own personal life force energy and thus deplete you of living a blissful life itself, which is your very own birthright. Everyone deserves to be happy and to enjoy the beauty of life itself. Life should be treated as a game and should never be taken too seriously. When you allow yourself to become envious of someone else's success, for example, You divert your own personal life force energy away from the game which the universe has set before you, which is your very own personal life, and not someone else's. That is why I personally believe that people should not pay too much attention to celebrities, the news, and social media for this very reason, because they tend to drain people of their own personal life force energy because of the amount of attention that they take away from people focusing on living their own personal lives. You don't need to cut these things out of your life entirely, but simply limit them in order for you to be able to focus on living your own personal life. Focus on living out your own life in a way that is both meaningful to yourself and to the world around you, and in that way you can actually live out a peaceful and happy life, which is your very own deepest desire, and what you were intended to do with your existence here on this earth. And in that being said, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.